Okay, it's not. Go ahead and play it. Try to focus. Everybody close your eyes. Try to focus. Listen to my voice. Listen to my voice. Can you hear me? Oh, you shut it off. It was hard to focus, wasn't it? Right? All that noise in the background. But you listen to me and I'm telling you to focus, but you can't focus. Sometimes our minds are like this. So many thoughts bouncing around our head, worries of life, different things. Like if you're parents, you're worried about your kids or your job or whatever you're going through. Kids, you're worried about school or what other people may think about you, your friends, right? Sometimes all of a sudden thoughts are always flying around our head, taking our attention away from God. And so what I want to talk about is silence, and specifically solitude. Does anybody know where Superman's place to go was, if you know? Yes, Fortress of Solitude, for the people who know. The Fortress of Solitude is a place where he went to be alone for emergencies. His history was there, right? It's a place where he went to be by himself. Now the world tries to change silence into loneliness. Now loneliness has a negative connotation, right? It means that you're all alone, you have nowhere to go, you don't have anyone to talk to. But solitude is you're alone, but you're not lonely. You're alone, but it's in a positive way, but God is with you. There's no one around you, but you have someone to go to who is your Father, right? Now the scripture I want to focus on is 1 Kings chapter 19. If we can turn there, starting from verse 9. Now in the beginning, in the previous messages I did, I focused on 19, 1 through 8. But this time I'm going to focus on the second part. And I'll read it out loud to you. Then he came to a cave and lodged in it. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him, and he said to him, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" He said, "I have been very jealous for the Lord, the God of hosts, for the people of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and killed your prophets with the sword. And I only am left, and they seek my life to take it away." And he said, "Go out and stand on the mount before the Lord." And behold, the Lord passed by, and a great and strong wind tore the mountains, and broke in pieces the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, the sound of a low whisper. And when Elijah heard it, he wrapped his face in his cloak, went out and stood at the entrance of the cave. And behold, there came a voice to him and said, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" He said, "I've been very jealous for the Lord." He repeats himself. "The God of hosts, the people of Israel, have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and killed your prophets with the sword. I only am left, and they seek my life and to take it away." Now I'm going to stop there. Now I'm going to explain this. So before all this happened, Jezebel, if you know her, was trying to kill Elijah because of what he did previously. He killed all the prophets of Baal, and that demonstration we all know where fire came down at the altar, right? We all know that story. Now Jezebel was trying to kill Elijah. And in the scripture before this, he was so depressed, he just wanted to die. His mental anguish was so much, he did not know what to do. And then God gave him what? Food to eat, and he took a what? A nap. He took a nap and he ate. We covered this. And then next, Elijah withdrew to the mountain of God, which is Mount Horeb, and he lodged there. He went by himself, and he stayed in this mountain. And that's what I want to talk about, solitude. Elijah vented his frustrations to God. Whatever he was going through, he said, "Why is this happening to me? I've done all this for you. Why is this happening to me?" Elijah felt lonely. Even though he wasn't lonely, he felt lonely because there was so much pressure on him, right? There was so much things going on, and people are still trying to kill him. God manifested himself in a whisper. Some versions of the Bible say he spoke through the silence. if that makes sense. Sometimes we look for God to come like Superman, to come in and break everything, save us and pick us up and carry us away. But no, God came like what? A low, small whisper. Just like Jesus came to save, Israel was expecting what? A mighty warrior. Israel was expecting a champion, some kind of hero to come and save them. But he was what? A baby. And he came into a household, a poor household. He was born in a manger. Right? And this is how God works sometimes. And we need to listen to what he's trying to say. Now, to hear a whisper, what do you need to do? You need to listen. To hear a whisper, you need to listen. If you can't, if your thoughts are bouncing around, you can't listen. If you're talking, you can't listen. So listen, right? Listen to God. And that's what he wants us to do. That's my second point. When we pray, and kind of ties in what the pastor said today, when we pray, try listening to God instead of being selfish and giving him all our requests. Of course, God is there. You have to give him our requests, but in certain times, you just need to listen. And sometimes, I've done this too. I just kneel down to pray, and then I just say, God, give me this, and that. I have this going on, this problem. I'm praying for this. But sometimes, take time to listen to God. Just sit there. And we're so used to filling the silence with different things. Even with worship, I play keyboard and I play pad to cover up the silence. But sometimes, you just need complete silence and focus to God. Right? Amen?
Amen.
In James chapter 1, verse 19, it says, "My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry." Now, this is when it comes to people. Sometimes we're so quick to respond without even listening to people. And this happens in our relationships, between spouses and our friends. We should be people that are quick to listen. Listen to other people, not just try to respond suddenly. Because if you respond suddenly, it won't be correct. Listen to what people are trying to say. And I say it again, if you are talking, you aren't listening. So listen to people when they talk. And this applies to all our relationships, not just God, but our relationships here. And the next point, the final point is, silence speaks louder than words. And I like to take this example because when you play basketball, or whoever plays basketball, there's a lot of trash talk going on, right? People are saying things to each other. And it's a part of the game, right? But there are some times where silence speaks louder than words. Like somebody says something to you, you can't do this, you can't do that. But you prove it with your game, right? You're not saying that, but with your game, you show them what's up, right? Let God do, in our spiritual life, let God do the talking for you. He says, "Vengeance is mine, and I will repay." People say basically all the bad things about you, but don't respond. Let God take care of it. And another thing is that the tongue is deadly. So you can influence people's lives with your tongue. So don't speak more than you have to. Don't just start babbling, gossiping, whatever you do. Just listen to God and to people. Now, to wrap up, in the world today, we always want to be connected. And this is coming back to solitude. And we always want to be on our phones, knowing what's going on, and we have FOMO, fear of missing out. The first thing we grab in the morning, or I do anyway, is our phone. And when I look, first thing my hand goes, I know where my phone is. My hand goes to my headboard, I know where my phone is. And if it's not there, sometimes it fell off, I would start panicking. Where did my phone go? And the last thing we put down is our phone. Right? We're all centered around our phone. But you need to realize that all you need is God, and He is enough for you. We have all this connection to the outside world, but all you need is God. The discipline of solitude has been lost. Solitude means spending some time away from your phone, spending time away from people and directly focusing yourself to God. And there's the thing of, even though people say I can use my phone, but I've come to realize, even if you use your phone, you get notifications all the time. You're still connected to the outside world. This is not connected to the outside world. Right? This is directly focusing to God. And that is what I'd like you to practice. And I want to read some verses to encourage you today. Psalms 46, verse 10. "Be still and know that I am God. I'll be exalted among the nations. I'll be exalted in the earth." Psalm 62, verse 5. "For God alone, O my soul, wait in silence, for my hope is from Him." There are even situations that come where you don't even have words to say. You don't know what to pray. But if you sit in silence, the Spirit groans on our behalf, right? Romans 8, 26 to 27. In the same way, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit Himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. And He who searches our hearts knows the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for God's people in accordance with the will of God. Amen?
Amen.
Now, we're going to try this one more time without the noise. We're going to take a moment of silence. Everybody close their eyes. 30 seconds. Focus on God, nothing else. 30 seconds. Pin drop. Pin drop silence. I encourage you to listen to God in silence and see what He's trying to say. I know that was awkward at first, right? Sometimes it can be awkward. We're not comfortable with silence. But pay attention to God in the silence. Let Him speak to you. Don't always be selfish and talk first. Let God speak to you, right? And I encourage you to practice that this week. Thank you.